Hello and welcome everybody to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these really cool posters, or also, of course, if you want to post these on social media. This is really in style, I think, because a lot of people in social media I see in the photography space like to post their images with the white border, but I think this is a really cool, somewhat unique. I've seen people do similar things like this before, but way of doing it because I include the different settings and location and camera that I shoot on inside this image. So I think it would be really cool, one, to post these types of images on social media so people can see the settings and the location and the camera that you're using. And then also, I think it would be really cool for a print, even if you just hang it up on your wall, print it. For this tutorial, I'm going to be doing an 11 by 17 inch size. Of course, you can do whatever size you want, but 11 by 17 is a common size for prints. So I think that would be a really cool idea. I actually might do that myself, print out some of these. I might post these style of images on social media. But yeah, there's a bunch of things you can do with this. I think it's a really cool idea. So I wanted to show you guys how I made it using GIMP. Of course, you can probably do almost the exact same thing on Photoshop. You could probably follow along pretty easily because these are simple tools that I'm using to create these images. So first what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, New, and you're going to switch this from pixels to inches. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but I'm going to be using an 11 by 17 inch size just in case I want to print it out, in that size. Hit OK. You might get this error, or not error, but you might get this warning saying you're out of memory, blah, blah, blah. You can just hit OK. There's not really going to be any issues. For some reason, my border filled in with gray, so I'm going to switch that back to white. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to View, and I'm going to click on Show Grid. And your grid's probably going to look like this, and that's way too small to actually do anything useful. So what we're going to do is go back to Grid. Also make sure you do Snap to Grid, make sure that's turned on. And then we're going to go to Image and then Configure Grid. And we're going to change this to spacing 0.55 inches per grid space. Hit Enter. I just realized that's not correct. Hit Enter and you'll see it update right here. And of course you can change it, maybe you want to do half an inch. Whatever you like, whatever you're comfortable with. You can change up this grid however you want. Make it your own. Don't copy everything exactly the way I do it. Of course, you can if you want to, but I think it's a lot better to take an idea and create it into something your own, something unique. So you don't have to follow this exactly according to the way I do it, but for what I like to do 0.55 for 11 by 17 inch prints. So we're going to hit OK. And now you got your grid size, which is really awesome. And now you can click File, Open as Layer, open the image that you want. If it asks you to convert the color space, just convert it. That should be fine. And then you're going to go to the Scale tool. Of course, my image is a little bit larger than the canvas, so I'm going to want to scale it down. And what I like to do, you can play around with the exact sizes and things like that. But if you scale it, you can move it around by selecting and clicking and holding on the middle here. And then you should actually be able to, I'm not sure why it's snapping to that section and not the actual, interesting. So sometimes it messes up with the snapping there, but I've already figured out what the spacing is for the width. Normally I do the spacing for the width the way I want it, and then I let the height adjust itself. So I'm going to do the width as 9.9, and I just realized I did that wrong because what I want to do is keep the aspect ratio. And I'm realizing, let me reset this. Okay, so I want to keep the aspect ratio, so I'm going to click on this little icon here and link the chain together. So that way it keeps the aspect ratio, and then I'm going to set the width to 9.9 inches, which is going to exactly be 9.9 plus 0.55 plus 0.55 is 11 inches, at least I believe. And then I'm going to hit Scale. And now we're going to click the Move tool, and my image should align perfectly with these squares. So you can see if I zoom into that one and if I zoom into that one, it is perfectly aligned there and then on the bottom as well. So that is what I like to see, and you can see the bottom is 3 squares and the sides on the left, right, and top are just 1 square. I like that because it allows me to have some text on the bottom like you saw previously, and that's what we're going to set up right now. So the first text box, I like to do the first text box as the lens focal length, which is 60 millimeters for this image. Set that color to black. I like to use 75-point fonts, but I might change it. We'll see. And then I like to click this corner here to lock the size of the text box. And then I'm going to do that again for the second box. The second box, I normally do the f-stop. This f-stop is 5.6, I believe. So we're going to set that to black, 75-point font. And for this one, so there's 20 boxes along the horizontal plane of the image here. And so what we're going to do is this one starts on box number 2. And so for this guy, we're going to start it on box number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to adjust the size. And then we're going to do another one. This one is going to be the ISO. ISO was 100. Set the size and the color. And then for this one, we're going to do 7 from the right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be this box right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And then finally, we'll do the last box, at least the last camera settings box. That one is going to be the shutter speed, which is 1/150, I believe. Set it to black. Set it to 75. And then just to make it a little bit easier, we're going to click on the box to resize it, and then we'll move it using the move tool to this corner right here. And then we've got all the settings set up, so that's awesome. And now what we're going to do is set up the location. Just make sure that box is fit correctly. The location is Aiguille du Midi, Chamonix, France. Hopefully I spelled that all right without being able to see it. Set it to 75-point font. Expand it out. Make sure you spell check before you post your images. Aiguille du Midi, Chamonix, France. Yep, it looks good. And then we're going to do the other box. This one is going to be the camera name. Panasonic. Oh my gosh. Let me just change the color. Panasonic S9. There we go. Resize the box to get it to the correct size, and that way we can then move it to the right. And then also we're going to want to make that 75 point. And then we're going to have to move it over again. And there we go. I just realized the background moved a little bit there, so that fixes that. And now what we can do is we can go to View and then Show Grid, turn that off. And then what I like to do is go to Zoom, Fit Image to Window. And now let me just remove this guy. Now we can compare. And you'll see it is slightly different because on this one I actually didn't have the grid 100% correctly. So if I show the grid on this one, you can see the image doesn't go to the bottom there. But on this one it does go to the bottom. So they're not exactly the same, but that's okay. I did fix an issue from the original one. So we're just going to zoom this one back in. And there you go. So that is the image One thing that I actually think, just like in the moment recording this video, one thing that I don't really like about this right now is that the text is so close to the bottom of the image. So what I think I might do is actually show the grid again, and I might move these text boxes to the bottom of the box. Let me fix this guy. Move the text to the bottom of the box. Let me switch this to 0. I'm not sure why this one is at the bottom, but this one is not. Why is that? Oh, I guess. Oh, a G goes to the bottom. Okay, cool. So then we're going to get this box. And I'm not actually sure if this is going to look the best or not. We're just going to check it out, see if it looks good. I'm going to change this to 0, see if that makes a difference there. It does not. Okay. So that means we can go to this one, move this one right here to the bottom, move this one right here to the bottom, move this one right here to the bottom. And there we go. That should look a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is go back to the zoom, fit to window, view, turn off the grid. And yes, I think that does look much, much better. It just adds a little bit more spacing, a little bit more breathing room for the image, so you can look at the image and then you can see the text and it's not overbearing on the image, stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something about how to create really cool posters in GIMP. I think I'm going to start using these. Maybe I'll print them out. Maybe I'll start posting these style of images to things like Instagram and stuff like that. So we'll see. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.